You're tired, not of your job, not of your goals. You're tired of your mind, tired of overthinking, of over-anticipating, of carrying things in your chest that haven't even happened yet. You lie in bed, your body still, but your head keeps buzzing. You smile for the world, but inside you feel an invisible pressure, as if you have to solve your entire life today, now, all at once. And it is precisely here that Jesus comes in with a phrase that is not just spiritual. It is profound, it is liberating, it is medicine for the soul and for the mind. Matthew 6:34. Therefore do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own. Listen to that. Jesus didn't say you'd never have problems. He said you don't need to suffer twice. Because most people aren't suffering for the present. They're suffering for a version of the future that doesn't exist yet. And that is a silent prison. You feel anxiety and you call it responsibility. You feel fear and you call it prudence. You feel exhaustion and you call it ambition. But in reality, it's a weariness that arises when the mind tries to control what only God can sustain. And pay attention to this, because here everything changes. Living one day at a time is not a lack of vision. It is mastery, it is maturity. It is spiritual intelligence. It is the highest form of faith applied to the mind, because there's a difference between planning and torturing yourself. There's a difference between being diligent and being a slave to tomorrow. Jesus is not teaching you to be passive. He is teaching you to be free. Now imagine a simple scene. An ordinary person, you. You wake up, grab your phone, and before washing your face, you're already in the world. Notifications, .news, comparisons, pressure, messages, and within seconds, your mind has been kidnapped. Your heart races, your body goes on alert, and the day hasn't even begun. That's what the world calls normal, but Jesus calls it unnecessary weight. Because when you live in tomorrow, you lose two things, presence and power. You lose presence because your body is here, but your mind is far away. And you lose power because God's power is always manifested in the now. There is no faith in the future. Faith is a decision in the present. There is no peace in tomorrow. Peace is a choice now, and Jesus knew it. That's why he taught a way of living that heals the heart and reorganizes the mind. And let me show you something almost no one notices in this verse. When Jesus says, each day has enough trouble of its own, he is saying that the day already has its own measure, its own burden, its own limit. And when you try to cram tomorrow into today, you exceed the limit of your spirit. You break from excess. You crumble not because you are weak, but because you are carrying too much time within a single day. So today, I want to invite you to do something that seems simple but is revolutionary. Return. Return to the now. Return to what you can sustain. Return to what God gave you this day. Because you don't need to conquer your entire life today. You only need to conquer this day with faith, just this one. And tomorrow, when it comes, you will conquer it again. And if you stay with me until the end of this video, I will teach you the most practical and powerful way to apply what Jesus taught. Not as a nice phrase, but as a real strategy to silence anxiety, strengthen your mind, and build a peace that does not depend on circumstances. Because when you learn to live one day at a time, you don't lose time, you gain life. The problem is not that you don't have faith. The problem is that your mind learned to survive in threat mode. And when a mind lives in threat, it interprets the future as danger, not as a promise. That's why, even when you are in a safe place, your body behaves as if it were at war. And this is the strongest part. Many people believe that anxiety is a defect, but in reality, it is a poorly trained protection system. It is a guard that never sleeps. A guard who, even when there is no enemy, continues to watch. That's why you can be moving forward and still feel it's not enough. You can be working and still feel guilty when you rest. You can be doing everything right and still feel that something bad is going to happen. Because anxiety doesn't ask you if it's logical. Anxiety asks if you are prepared for the worst-case scenario. And when you live thinking about the worst-case scenario, your soul gets tired before life even happens. Now listen to this very carefully. Jesus knew exactly how the human heart works. He knew that fear doesn't enter as fear. It enters as a thought. It enters as what if? What if it doesn't work out? What if I make a mistake? What if I lose? What if I get left behind? And without realizing it, your mind stops living in the present and begins to inhabit a future that only exists in your imagination. And that imaginary future becomes more real than reality. And here comes a truth that hurts but liberates. You are not tired by what you are living, you are tired by what you are imagining. You are exhausted by conversations that never happened, by losses that have not yet arrived, by problems that don't even exist. And the saddest thing is that, while your mind races towards tomorrow, today slips through your fingers. Peace slips away, gratitude slips away, clarity slips away, life slips away. Because living in tomorrow is like trying to breathe underwater. Your soul runs out of air. And even if you keep functioning externally, inside you feel empty, agitated, irritable, disconnected. And many times you don't need more motivation. You need more inner silence. You need your mind to obey your spirit again. You need to regain control of your attention. And this is where Jesus' teaching comes in with perfect precision. Sufficient for the day is its own trouble. He is not telling you don't plan. He is telling you, don't turn the future into an emotional burden today. Don't suffer in advance. Don't give your energy to something that is not yet in your hands. Because when you live one day at a time, something powerful happens. Your mind stops racing and starts building. It stops guessing and starts deciding. It stops fearing and starts trusting. And that trust is not naivete, it is wisdom. It is understanding that you do not control tomorrow, but you can control your obedience today, your focus today, your faith today, your step today. And tell me the truth. How many times has God already sustained you in moments you swore you wouldn't endure? How many times did you think, I can't do it, and still stood firm? How many times did you cry in secret, and yet God lifted you up? That means something. The same God who sustained you before can sustain you today. But your mind has to stop escaping into the future. Stay with me, because in the next block I will show you what Jesus really meant by tomorrow and why this teaching is not just spiritual. It is a direct strategy to heal the mind and recover your peace. There is a word that Jesus used in this teaching that seems simple, but it is a spiritual bomb for the mind. Tomorrow. Because when Jesus speaks of tomorrow, he is not talking about time. He is talking about the place where your anxiety lives. Tomorrow is not just the next day on the calendar. Tomorrow is that mental space where you try to control the uncontrollable. It's where your mind gets ahead, defends itself, prepares, tenses up as if the future were an enemy. And here comes the deepest part. Jesus does not forbid you from thinking about the future. Jesus forbids you from living in the future. Because thinking is one thing, dwelling is another. Planning is wise, obsessing is a prison. Preparing is diligence. Anticipating suffering is self-destruction. And most people confuse these two things. They say, I'm just being responsible. But inside, they are being consumed. That's why Jesus did not say, ignore tomorrow. He said, do not worry about tomorrow. And to worry, in the real sense, is to carry an emotion prematurely. It is to pay in advance for a pain that may never come. It is to expend energy in a battle that does not yet exist. It's as if your mind takes the future, brings it into the present, and places it on your chest like a stone. And here is the secret. Jesus knew that the human heart breaks when it tries to hold two times at once. Because you were only created to live one time, the now. The past teaches you, but it does not belong to you. The future guides you, but it does not control you. The only place where God speaks to you, strengthens you, and transforms you is the present. Because the present is where you obey. It's where you decide. It's where you act. It's where you grow. And look what Jesus does with one phrase. He cuts off anxiety's food supply. Because anxiety feeds on tomorrow. It feeds on scenarios, it feeds on assumptions, it feeds on what if. And when you stop giving tomorrow to your mind, anxiety loses strength. Not because your life is perfect, but because your mind no longer has permission to torment you. Now, I want you to understand this clearly. Jesus is not minimizing your problems. He is not saying your pain doesn't matter. He is saying your soul matters too much for you to destroy it by anticipating the worst. He is saying, do not suffer prematurely. Because when you suffer prematurely, you lose the ability to see what God is doing now. And there is something even more powerful. Jesus not only commands you to release tomorrow, Jesus teaches you to return to the Father. Because all worry is a silent way of saying, God, I don't know if you will take care of me. And that's why in the same chapter, Jesus speaks of the birds, the lilies, the food, the clothing, because he is touching on the central point. If God takes care of the small things, how will he not take care of you? But here comes the part almost no one understands. Trusting God does not mean you do nothing. It means you do your part without destroying your mind. It means you work, yes, but without fear. You strive, yes, but without desperation. You build, yes, but without living enslaved to the future. Because there is a way to move forward with peace. And that way is exactly what Jesus is teaching. So today, the question is not whether you have faith. The question is, in what time is your mind living? Is it living in the present, where there is power, or is it living in tomorrow, where there are only assumptions? Because the enemy does not always destroy you with tragedies. Many times he destroys you with anticipation. He steals today's life with fear of tomorrow. Stay with me, because in the next block, I will show you something that will surprise you. Why your brain insists on controlling the future, how that mechanism works, and how Jesus is giving you a practical, real, and powerful way out to regain control of your attention and your peace. Your brain was not designed for peace, it was designed for survival. And that phrase, though it sounds harsh, explains why sometimes you love God, you have faith, you are moving forward, but your mind still races. Because there is a part of you that does not seek tranquility, it seeks control. It does not seek calm, it seeks certainty. And since the future offers no certainty, the brain interprets it as a threat. That's why when you don't know what's going to happen, your mind tries to solve it by thinking. And here's the trick. Thinking isn't always solving. Many times, thinking is just repeating fear with different words. Your mind returns to the same scenario over and over, as if imagining it 1,000 times could prevent it. But all it does is exhaust you. This has a name. Your attention gets trapped. And when your attention gets trapped, your life shrinks. Because you don't live where you are. You live where you think. And if you think of loss, your body prepares to lose. If you think of failure, your body tenses as if it had already failed. If you think of rejection, your heart closes as if it had already been rejected. That's why there are people who are doing well, but feel bad. Not because their reality is bad, but because their mind is living an invented reality. And look at this, because this becomes very powerful. The brain loves patterns. It loves predictability. It loves familiarity, even if familiarity is painful. That's why many people repeat anxiety as if it were normal. They got used to living with a racing mind, with a tight chest, with that feeling of something is missing, something is coming. Something isn't right. And when they try to rest, they feel guilty. When they try to disconnect, they feel like they're wasting time. Because the brain associates rest with danger, as if letting your guard down were a threat. But Jesus comes and teaches you the opposite. Letting your guard down is not weakness, it is faith. It is saying, God, I do what I can today, and I hand the rest over to you. That is spiritual dominion. That is emotional maturity. That is freedom. And here comes a very important part. Your mind is not calmed by trying not to think. The mind is calmed by direction, by focus, by a higher truth that replaces the noise. That's why Jesus doesn't just tell you don't worry. He gives you a structure. He tells you live today, Walk today, obey today, pray today, do what is right today. Because when you give the brain a clear task in the present, the brain stops running to the future. And this is the strongest part. Anxiety is an addiction to tomorrow. Because tomorrow gives you the illusion that if you think enough, you'll be safe. But Jesus teaches you that security doesn't come from thinking more. It comes from trusting more. It doesn't come from controlling. It comes from resting in God. Now listen to this as if it were for you directly. You are not broken. You are not weak. You are not less spiritual. You are overburdened. You are trying to hold with your mind what can only be held with faith. And Jesus is inviting you to release the weight that does not belong to you. And that's why this teaching is so profound. Sufficient for the day is its own trouble. Because the day already has its battle. It already has its task. It already has its process. And when you try to fight tomorrow's battles, you lose the strength to win today's. Stay with me, because in the next segment, I'm going to give you 3 practical, clear, applicable keys to live one day at a time as Jesus taught. And not just feel peace for a few minutes, but build a strong, stable, and free mind. Now let's get practical, because Jesus didn't come to give you pretty phrases to repeat. He came to give you a way of life. And living one day at a time is not positive thinking. It is a spiritual and mental discipline. It is training. It is decision. And here, I'm going to give you 3 keys you can apply starting today so that your mind stops racing and your heart can breathe again. First key, change the question your mind asks. The anxious mind always asks, what if everything goes wrong? But Jesus teaches you another question. What can I do today with faith? Because anxiety lives in possibilities, but faith lives in actions. Anxiety feeds on scenarios, but faith is strengthened by obedience. So every time your mind attacks you with a what if, you respond with an internal command. Just for today. Just for today, I will do what is right. Just for today, I will take the next step. Just for today, I will trust. And this is not self-deception. This is focus. This is power. Because the present is the only place where you can win. Second key, divide your burden into a measure your soul can sustain. Because many times you are not suffering from one problem. You're suffering from an entire life piled on top of your chest. You are trying to solve money, future, family, goals, identity, results, time, comparison, all at once. And of course your mind collapses. No one was created to carry an entire life in one afternoon. That's why Jesus says, sufficient for the day. That is, don't put everything in the same bag. Today has its burden, tomorrow will have its own. So you separate what belongs to me today. What can I do today? What is in my hands today? And the rest, you let it go. Because some things are not solved with thinking. They are solved with time. They are solved with process. They are solved with God. Third key, turn your attention to what God has already given you. Because the future always seems grand when you forget the present. And the present always seems small when you despise it. But here's the secret. God almost never changes your life with a big blow. He changes it with small, repeated decisions. One day at a time, one obedience at a time. One step at a time, one yes at a time. So today, instead of asking for strength for the whole year, ask for strength for the day. Instead of asking for clarity for your whole life, ask for clarity for the next decision. Instead of asking for peace for everything that's coming, ask for peace for what you are living now. Because God does not abandon you in the process. God reveals himself in the process. And let me tell you something that might touch you very deeply. Many times you are waiting for the future to give you peace. But Jesus offers you peace before the future. Peace is not a reward at the end. Peace is a way of walking. It is a way of existing. It is a way of trusting. So when your mind starts racing again, you do this. You breathe, you lower your shoulders, and you say inwardly, Lord, I will not live in tomorrow. I will live with you today. And in that instant, something changes. Because you return to the place where God governs, the present. Stay with me. because in the next segment, I'm going to tell you a real, human, powerful story with an emotional twist that will show you what a person looks like when they finally learn to let go of tomorrow and start living one day at a time with Jesus. Let me tell you a story, because sometimes a truth doesn't enter through the mind, it enters through the heart. There was a person who seemed strong on the outside. They worked, fulfilled duties, smiled, responded to messages, solved things, and from afar they seemed stable. But inside they lived in a silent race. A race against time, against the future, against the idea of something is missing. And the strangest thing was that they didn't have a huge tragedy weighing them down. They had something worse, a constant, small, daily, repetitive worry. That worry that doesn't scream but wears you down. That which doesn't destroy you suddenly. It consumes you drop by drop. And every night was the same. They would lie down and the body would crave rest, but the mind would start its movie. What if something happens tomorrow? What if I make a mistake? What if I don't achieve what I want? What if I'm wasting time? What if everyone else is moving forward but me? And the more they tried to calm down, the more they accelerated. Because an anxious mind isn't calmed by force, it's calmed by surrender. When dawn, that person got up, went to the kitchen, drank water, and stood looking into the darkness. It wasn't sadness, it was mental exhaustion. It was as if their soul was saying, I can't sustain this anymore. And there in the silence, they did something they hadn't done in a long time. They opened the Bible. Not out of habit, not out of religion. Out of necessity, out of hunger for peace. And the first thing they read was Matthew 6:34. Therefore, do not worry about tomorrow. And at that moment, something strange happened. It wasn't magic, it wasn't cheap emotion. It was clarity, as if God was saying, you are trying to live 2 days at once. You are living today and suffering for tomorrow. And that's why you have no strength. And that person realized something that shocked them. They were spending their life trying to control what hadn't even arrived yet. And here comes the twist, because the most powerful thing wasn't what they read. It was what they understood. Jesus wasn't saying, don't think. Jesus was saying, don't carry. Don't carry a weight that doesn't belong to you yet. Don't carry an anticipated pain. Don't carry a battle that isn't for today. Then that person did something simple yet powerful. They sat down, breathed, and said a short prayer almost without pretty words. God, I cannot handle tomorrow, but I can handle today with you. And that changed the day. Not because the world became perfect, but because the mind stopped racing. Because when you accept today, your soul expands. When you let go of tomorrow, your chest is freed. When you surrender control, you regain peace. From that day on, that person started a practice. Every time their mind wanted to get ahead, they would say, just for today. Just for today, I will do what is right. Just for today, I will walk calmly. Just for today, I will trust. And the incredible thing is that over time, the future stopped being a monster. Because the future is not conquered in a single day. It is conquered with days well lived. And here's the part I want you to take away. Anxiety wants you to believe that worrying is loving your life. But Jesus teaches you that worrying is distrusting your life. And you were not created to live in fear. You were created to live in purpose. And purpose is only built in the present. So if you are listening to this and you identify with it, it's not a coincidence. It's a sign. God is calling your mind back. He is calling your attention back. He is calling your peace back. Stay with me, because in the next segment, I'm going to teach you a practical and simple mental routine to apply this every day. A one-day-at-a-time routine that reprograms your mind, strengthens your spirit, and gives you back control of your life. Now we are going to build a routine, because peace is not an accident, it is a habit. And Jesus didn't just give you an idea, he gave you a path. And this path is walked with something that seems small, but changes your life one day at a time. So I'm going to teach you a mental and spiritual routine that you can do in less than 2 minutes, but that retrains your mind to leave tomorrow and return to the present. I call it just for today. Step 1, acknowledge what you are feeling without fighting yourself. Because when you fight with your emotion, the emotion grows. So you say it honestly, I am anxious, I am tired, I am overwhelmed, I am trying to control too much. And just by naming it, your mind lowers the volume. Because what is named is ordered, and what is ordered can be healed. Step 2, cut the future with a phrase of authority, not with weakness, with dominion. You say, I'm not going to live in tomorrow. I'm not going to suffer ahead of time. I am not going to pay in advance for pain that does not yet exist. And here comes the key phrase, just for today. Just for today I will focus. Just for today I will walk. Just for today I will obey. This works because your mind needs limits. Your mind needs a boundary. And Jesus gave you that boundary in Matthew 6:34. The day has its measure. You don't have to carry more. Step 3, choose a small concrete action in the present. Because anxiety is broken with movement, not with more thought. So you ask, what is the next step? Not step 10, not the complete plan. The next step. It can be something simple, answering a message, organizing one thing, making a call, writing an idea, finishing a task. Just one thing, because when you do one thing with peace, you regain control of your attention. And when you regain your attention, you regain your life. Step 4, surrender what you cannot control with a short prayer. You don't need perfect words, you need sincerity. Something like this, Lord, I surrender tomorrow to you. God, I surrender what is not in my hands to you. Father, sustain my mind, and then silence. Breathe, because many times your soul doesn't need more noise, it needs presence. Step 5, repeat a verse as an anchor. A verse not as decoration, but as a weapon, as a foundation. And today the anchor is Matthew 6:34. You repeat it slowly. Do not worry about tomorrow. Sufficient for today is its own trouble. And each time you repeat it, your mind learns a new truth. The present is enough. And here's the most powerful thing about this routine. When you do this every day, your mind stops reacting and starts governing. You stop being a slave to thought and become the master of your attention. Because attention is your invisible wealth. Where your attention goes, your energy goes. Where your energy goes, your destiny goes. And let me tell you something that will wake you up. Many people are tired because their minds live in places where their bodies never were. They live in conversations that didn't happen, in tragedies that didn't arrive, in imaginary losses. But Jesus calls you back to the place where life happens, here, now today. So next time your mind wants to run, you come back and you say, just for today. And with that phrase, you are not denying reality. You are choosing peace. You are choosing faith. You are choosing to live as Jesus taught. Stay with me until the end, because in the next segment I will conclude this message with a truth that will give you direction, strength, and continuity. And I will leave you with a practical action so that today you can feel the difference. And also, if this word helped you, I will show you how to continue training your mind and spirit day after day. Now I want you to hold on to this, because it can be the phrase that sustains you on difficult days. You don't need strength for your whole life. You only need strength for today. And if today you can breathe, you can believe, you can get up, you can take a step, then today is already a victory. Because life is not conquered in a single blow. It is conquered with well-lived days. Jesus did not promise you a path without burdens. He promised you a path with direction. And when he said, do not worry about tomorrow, he was not ignoring your reality. He was protecting your mind. He was saying, do not surrender your peace to a future that has not yet arrived. He was saying, do not turn anticipation into your prison. He was saying, do not suffer twice. And if you understood how powerful it is to live one day at a time, you would never again despise the present. Because the present is the place where God strengthens you. The present is where your faith becomes real. The present is where your mind is reordered. The present is where your peace is born. So today, just for today, I want you to do something simple, not perfect, simple. When this video ends, take a minute and write in your mind 3 things. First, what am I feeling right now? Name it without shame, without struggle. Second, what can I do today? Just one step one. Third, what do I need to release into God's hands? That which is weighing on you, but is not under your control. And then say this phrase calmly, like a decision. Just for today I trust. Just for today I breathe. Just for today I move forward. Just for today I don't worry about tomorrow. Because when you live like that, anxiety loses its power, fear loses its authority. The future ceases to be a monster, and you become yourself again, a person with faith, with vision, with purpose, but with peace. And listen to this because it is a spiritual and mental truth. Worrying doesn't prepare you. It wears you out. Worry doesn't protect you. It robs you. It robs you of energy. It robs you of focus. It robs you of clarity. It robs you of presence. But Jesus didn't come to rob you of life. He came to give it back to you. So if this message spoke to you, don't ignore it. It was no coincidence that you heard it. Perhaps God is calling you back to the place where your soul rests today. And now, I'll tell you simply, if you want to continue training your mind and spirit with daily wisdom, I have complete content with deep reflections, one day at a time, to strengthen your faith, your mindset, and your peace. The link is in the pinned comment, and it's not to pressure you. It's to help you walk this process with direction. And before you go, do me a favor, because this helps the channel a lot. Like this video, share it with someone who is carrying too much, and write a phrase in the comments. Just for today, I want to read you. I want to know that you are also choosing to live as Jesus taught. Because when you learn to live one day at a time, you don't lose the future. You build it with peace, with faith, with purpose, and with God with you.